John here from Predictology, and in this video, we're going to walk you through the latest additions to the Live XG Match Center. Initially, we'll show you the standard features, but stick with us as we have something unique and exciting to show you later in the video. It'll be well worth your time sticking around till the end of this video. So in the standard view, you'll get all the usual in-play statistics that you would expect. In addition to this, where the stats are available, we also have pre-match and in-play XG data. It is decision day in the MLS. So in other words, it's the final round of the regular season with many teams fighting for that final playoff spots for the MLS Cup. As you can see, it's early in the first half and already a number of goals scored. So this could be a fun period to demonstrate the tool. There's sure to be many twists and turns today, as is usual in the MLS. So quickly recap, at the bottom of the page, you can see where the data was last updated. Generally, it's every 20 seconds. For each match, you can mark it as a favorite, which will add it to its own tab. You then have the league and match information as you'd expect, match time, score, and you can alternate between first half, second half, and full match data. And where available, you have the live XG data. You have three sets of data. XG is the regular expected goals data. XGOT is the quality of the shots that were actually on target. And PXG is our own Predictology XG rating, which we feel gives a more accurate reading on expected goals in any given match. Following this, we have the regular in-play data, such as shots, saves, attacks, possession, corner, and penalties, etc. Now, I'm going to jump over to favorites and turn on overview mode. This probably needs a name change, as really what we're seeing here is we're changing things into trading mode, which is a new, unique, and dynamic way to monitor and trade football matches. So as you can see now, we have a very unique grid view of all the key matches that we've marked as favorites, and it really draws out the most important statistics and metrics for any matches going on. We'll walk you through those in a moment. As a football trader, what we're really interested in is goals. Goals change games, goals influence markets and prices, goals create the positions that we need to make successful trades. And this is what the overview mode provides, an easy way to monitor multiple matches in a simple grid view while only showing the most important information. Let's take the New York City Montreal game here as an example. So first, obviously, it displays the number of goals that we've seen in the match. At the moment, it's currently 1-0 to Montreal. How many shots have there been? How many of those have been on target? The current XG of the shots to date in this match. The XG of the shots on target using the Predictology rating, which we mentioned earlier in the video. And where it really comes into its own, we have our algorithms determining goal expectancy. So how far ahead or behind is our XG rating against the current score? This is then calculated to provide you with an expected score based on the match data at this exact point in time. So using this as an example, the most likely scenario in this game is the next goal for this match would come for New York City, and we're currently expecting it to be 1-1. And actually, each match is linked to your VF Manager automated feed, and this allows you to flag to you whether you have bets or inclusions within your feed that relate to this particular match. So as you can see in this first one, it's related to one of my value betting filters. If we scroll over to DC United Charlotte, it also is in our premium BM32 strategy, which is suggesting a home win for DC United. So that gives us further insights into the match so that we know from a pre-match perspective what position we expect the game to go, and we can see whether that aligns to what's happening while the game is taking place. We fully believe that this tool will revolutionize how you play football matches, and we'll give you some more examples in future videos. It is important to understand and appreciate that no tool can 100% predict what will be the outcome in the game. It is a prediction, and that is the pure definition of a prediction, is that it is only predicting what is likely to happen based on the stats that are available. So you cannot simply just use every highlighted prediction here and just go and bet or trade every single one as it comes up. Well, if you combine this with your knowledge and experience, your existing strategies and what you're monitoring within the game, it will be a huge improvement and assistance to your trading. Much more powerful than just basing it solely on possession or shots on target. Over time, if you learn to use this tool correctly and combine it with your experience, what you should see is the accuracy of your trading, the win rate of your trading should both increase. In addition to that, you should find yourself making more successful trades, gently trading at better value because you're delaying your entry point based on the data that it's showing you, and ultimately improves your overall performance as a football trader. As an example, and based on the information that we have in front of us here are a couple of trades that I would consider making. Firstly, the New York City Montreal game. Looks like New York are heavily pushing in this, and I may try a small trade before halftime to see if that match gets to level before the break. And if it doesn't, I would have that one as a game that I'll monitor into the second half. Chicago Fire, Nashville. We're seeing XG stats, but I would be inclined to wait for the second half before getting involved there. DC United, a similar story, not expecting a goal immediately. And for Inter Miami, New England, I would be getting behind Inter Miami here. I think based on what's happening today and the fact that they could set the new league record and being a 2-0 down at home to a poor New England side with Lionel Messi still on the bench, I would fully expect them to have a good crack at getting back into this game. And I think a lay of New England or a back of Inter Miami is probably a solid trade here. New York Red Bulls, Columbus Crew. New York comfortable 2-0 ahead. There's nothing showing in this game of anything changing decisively in that regard. Atlanta are 2-0 ahead. But again, I would be waiting to see if anything before considering entering into that game. And Cincinnati are indicating that they may push back into this game, but it's not as strong as what we see in the New York City game. So this would be what I'd be inclined to wait upon. Oh, and there we go. Inter Miami have already pulled one back through Luis Suarez before I could get involved in that game. But I may well look at the New York Montreal game. We'll go back later to look at any other interesting trades that may present itself through this slide data. It's half time in the Eastern Conference game. The Western Conference is in a couple of hours' time. But looking at half time, probably not a lot of action I would take just because of league positions and motivation. Montreal would need to lose and other results to go against them, so they're sitting pretty comfortably. New York can move up a place, but they're guaranteed a spot in the playoffs anyway, so nothing I would be diving into here just yet. Chicago, Nashville, neither side have anything to play for. They've had pretty poor seasons. DC United are in the last playoff spot, and Charlotte are guaranteed a spot. So if DC were to fall behind and other teams were to win, they could slip out of the playoff spot. So this is a game I would be keeping an eye on, but I expect it to be tight rather than there being lots of goals. Inter Miami did in fact get back to 2-2 against New England, but before halftime, they were as high as 4.1 for winning the game when 2-0 down just before the goal came in, which I highlighted. Right now, the odds aren't all that attractive, but I do fully expect Inter Miami to go on and win this game. So it will be one for monitoring later in the half. New York have nothing to play for. They're guaranteed a spot, as are Columbus Crew. There's no indication that New York are particularly pushing for a goal. So again, that's a wait and see one. Atlanta need the win and DC to lose. They're just outside the playoffs at the moment. Orlando did pick up a goal just before half time. They're pretty safe in the playoff spots as well. So again, I think that's one I would just monitor for now. Philadelphia conceded just on half time to Cincinnati. They're another side who are outside of the playoff places now. They need the win, but they also need other results to go their way. So for now, I think that's probably about the right score for that game and what would be one I'd monitor late in the half. So as things stand, there would be anything I would tackle at halftime in this game, but hopefully this gives you a good idea of how the tool is working. And if it wasn't the fact that it's finally poised, final game of a regular season, we may have other actions that we would be taking. But with the knowledge that we have of the MLS, this is more of a wait and see. We'll come back in the second half if anything interesting occurs. We're approaching 70 minutes in the Eastern Conference games in MLS. And to be quite frank, not a lot of interest for me in many of these games. I really love changing the data for Montreal and New York, and I think both sides probably settle for that outcome at the moment. Nashville had a deflected goal, but it's a dead rubber game, so not really interested in that. The most interesting one is Charlotte taking the lead against DC United, which, as things stand, probably puts them out of the playoffs, but also potentially pushes Atlanta into the playoffs. So those are probably the two games I'm going to be keeping an eye on. Orlando will want to get something out of this game as they could potentially lose home spot in the playoff rounds for the MLS Cup. So 1 goal margins in both of those games, probably something I'm going to keep an eye on for the last 10 minutes. Inter Miami are 3-2 up, as you would expect. Lionel Messi came on. First touch of the ball was a beautifully chipped ball into Alba. Cross for Inter Miami to take a 3-2 lead. Prices weren't really something I was interested to get into, but as we highlighted in the first half when they were 2-0 down, very good opportunity for getting behind Inter Miami in that game. I expect them to close that one out. Probably looking at the end of their season, 2-1 down. So I'm not really interested in that game, and really nothing happening in the New York Columbus. So yeah, either nothing but the only two games of real interest are probably O and DC, and we'll check back in later if anything of interest catches our eye. All right, as we enter into the final 10 minutes in the MLS, as I said, the only games I was really interested in was DC United and Charlotte. Charlotte have gone 2-0 ahead, which at the moment puts DC out of the playoffs on goal difference and allows Atlanta to move in. Basically, they need a goal for Orlando to bring that 2-2. DC United stay alive into the playoffs. It may well be worth trying a late one on that, but for now, I'll watch the game play out. Inter Miami, won 5-2 ahead. Who else but that man Lionel Messi with 2 goals. The one that actually catches my eye here now is the Chicago Fire Nashville game, but 9 minutes to go. It's 1-0 to Nashville. It is a dead rubber game, but you kind of got to think last 10 minutes of your whole season, maybe both sides should just try and finish on a positive note. So I might actually lay Nashville and back an extra goal in that game. Fails to disappoint when it comes to late drama. So the game we highlighted in the last update was Chicago Fire against Nashville. We took a position of laying Nashville at 1.2, and we also backed 1 additional goal and 2 additional goals. And lo and behold, 2 quick fire goals from Nashville, bring a 3-0 score line and a nice collect for us on that. We were just trying to get into the market on Orlando versus Atlanta to lay Atlanta and 1 more goal, just as Orlando scored. However, I believe in real time that goal has now been disallowed. So we may take another look at that. But first, we'll just jump over to our betting account to see how that looks. See, we've talked you through our trades today during the Eastern Conference matches. We laid New York approaching halftime, which wasn't successful. We fully intended to back Miami, but while making the video, we missed you there. But we were patient in the second half, identified Chicago Fire as the best opportunity in the matches play. And yeah, we collected just over £200 profit and put us up for the day. We'll keep an eye out for the Western Conference games later. If there's anything interesting, we'll add those to this video. Experiencing the live XG tool and have some ideas on how you can use it yourself going forwards. And we'll be launching that very, very soon.